met a Rav from Europe, and I asked him, does he remember any little Teirelach that they told him in yeshiva around age bar mitzvah, 14, 15? And he tried to remember and he couldn't, and then I remembered and I told him something. So Rabbi Landau said, Yaakov Avinu was sitting outside the tent and he was looking for Oivrim v'Shavim. What's Oivrim v'Shavim? People who are doing Avedis, and Shavim doing Tshuva. Elul, you come back, and the whole recycle program, right? Every year. Why can't you just make the decision that you are who you are? Evidently you'll make mistakes. You make the decision one time in your life, age 13 or 23, that you're going to be a Shemer Torah mitzvah, and then the rest is nonsense because you already made that decision. Sometimes you can make a decision that you're not going to be a Shemer Torah mitzvah, so all the Avedis don't count because you're not paying attention anyway. You're busy with life and other things. Oivrim v'Shavim, people going to do the Aveda, coming back. It was a beautiful word. Next is, so I told him a piece of history. There was once a religion. It doesn't exist today. But the old wise men of the religion were, milking the goats on top of the mountain. And they were saying, how do we get the people to constantly be paying attention to us? So they said, we're going to tell them that the God on top of the mountain doesn't want you to itch your elbow. If you scratch your elbow, it's the biggest sin. They tried it. No one knew it worked. It died out. The religion, nothing. People weren't getting injured. It wasn't working. So later on, they tried another religion that you can't touch your dinghy. You can't masturbate. And that religion worked, and Judaism and Christianity and Islam borrowed these concepts. It worked great. People saying Tillim, tzedakah, going back to the mosque, putting charity in the church, Jews saying Tillim and going to mikveh and all that, whatever they could do to believe that they're actually fixing what they did wrong, and it comes a vicious cycle. All depends on the person and the habit and the temperament and whatever. Some more, some less, but it grabs the masses. The 90% are for sure sold. Scratching the elbow, the religion died out. Scratching the dinghy, it worked. Why? Because the scratching the elbow, didn't feel like it meant anything. Shtei goyim bevitnech was the issue of tshuva. She says, I'm having 2 babies inside, and so the Mefarshim later said that when they saw a place of Avodah Zarah, the baby was kicking. When they went to a place of Kedusha, the baby was kicking. So they thought, we're going to have a baby that's never going to do tshuva. He goes here and he goes there. He's always, he's good with everything. He doesn't feel, it's by him the same thing. This religion, that religion, it's the same thing. So why is there's not going to be no Oivrim and Shavim? So I gave him a deeper shot on this story. What's the problem? How do you know the kid's not going to do tshuva? Think for a second. What do you mean? You're going to go, you're going to explain it to him. A baby, Taka doesn't know the difference between a candy store. You show a baby a $100 bill and you show him a room full of candies. He's going to choose the room full of candies. Or even if it's half or a quarter the amount at 100. Obviously, without training, nobody would know the difference. So no. Because if the shul is locked, he'll go to the church or to the base of Avodah Zarah, because the church wasn't the concept, it's the same God. But if the church is locked, to go to the shul. By him, it's the same thing. So he's never going to do tshuva because he doesn't, it feels like he's scratching the elbow. He doesn't see the meaning why this is good and this is bad. And there's a battle between good and evil. This whole concept that it was adopted into Judaism about the battle of good and evil, just like the Jedi Knights and all that, came from Zoroaster religion, which was another monotheistic one-God religion from Iran. A wonderful God. He said that you can't, Zoroaster was the prophet, the God was a Ahura Mazda. And he said you can't have slaves. He was a little predating the Torah. That's how the story goes. So they had this concept of the world is good, evil battle between this God battles the bad guys, but he created the bad guys because you have to have the God has to be in charge, right? Otherwise, people don't like the story. How are you going to sell it? So the guy, the Shtei Goyim Vitnech, he goes to the church, he goes to the shul. He's not so excited about the shul. The shul's locked. Okay, so we'll go to a church. But when you're excited, you want to go to the shul, and the shul's locked, he's disappointed. He doesn't care. Scratch the elbow. Don't scratch the elbow. Big fucking deal. Who cares? So that religion didn't survive. But the scratching the dinghy, he felt like, feels something right. It feels wrong. There's pleasure. There must be someone there must be a balance, good, evil. So the dinghy religion lasted till today. But according to halacha, it's not a problem because you can't learn halacha from Sefer Bereshis, and this halacha was taken from Sefer Bereshis. Bechla was taken from Goyim, but they took it from Bereshis. Dvarim is very clear about it. It says you have to go to mikveh after. I'm just giving you the Ma'anim HaKoimis. It doesn't say anything wrong with it. It just says if a guy, it's related to the kosher, Tumah V'Tara laws, and kosher food and all that, contaminated foods, polluted foods. And one of the laws is if your man is dirty, is a seaman, and he's dirty till the evening, Tamei ad ha'arev, you're polluted, you need to wash yourself. Doesn't say there's anything wrong. But what don't believers believe? So the masses believed it. But if you ask a Shailas Chacham, it'll be very clear to you that there's no problem. And then the mysticism and the Mekubalim picked up on it. Some Mekubalim said it's bad, some said it's good. They contradicted each other, but that wasn't new. The prophets also contradicted each other, so it wasn't new to the religion. Thank you for watching. Sei gesund.